Hello. In the first Republican debate, there was a young man, 38 years old, in the name of Vivek Ramaswamy, that debated all the other candidates with much feeling of reassurance that he can fix all American problems. Every problem that America has, whether it's military, finance, economic, or whatever else there is, he felt confident that he's the candidate that can actually do it. In the end of our Parsha, Parashat Tavo, Moshe Rabbeinu tells Am Yisrael that now, after 40 years in the desert, they finally can realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a new heart. And this is what he says, V'lo natan Hashem lachem, lev ladat, Hashem didn't give you a heart to know, ve'enaim lirot, and eyes to see, ve'oznaim lishmoa, and ears to hear, ad hayom hazeh, until today. What happened today? Rashi tells us that they were in the desert for 40 years. And up to 40 years, a person doesn't realize how much he's missing out. After 40 years, he starts realizing that he didn't understand. He starts understanding what his rabbi, in our case, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was teaching him. What really it means is that by that age, he understands that he doesn't understand everything. The Mishnah in Avot Perek Hey says, Ben 40 lebina, which means the knowledge of understanding beyond the surface understanding, which is called bina. It's lavin davar mitoch davar. You understand beyond the surface, comes at the age of 40. After 40 years, a person starts understanding more than the depth of just the surface. But he can go deeper than that and understand more than that. And the one thing that a person understands more than everything is that he doesn't understand. If there's depth into it, things that I didn't realize up to now, so there's got to be much more that I don't understand. And this is a certain level of maturity that a person realizes that he doesn't know everything. When a person is young, a kid, a teenager, he feels that he knows everything. He can argue with his parents, with his mentors, with his Rebbe, because he feels that he knows as much as they do, maybe even better. At a certain age, a person starts understanding that my parents know more than me, my Rebbe knows more than me. There's much more in there that I didn't realize up to now. And this is a certain level of maturity that Chazal tell us that comes after 40 years. And this is what we learn in our parasha. Moshe Rabbeinu tells Am Yisrael, up to now, you were excused because you were immature. Now, after 40 years in the desert, you came to the maturity of understanding that there's much more depth in what HaKadosh Baruch Hu have told you, and therefore you have to follow everything without having your own opinion on the way. And this is something that we need to realize, and we can learn from that candidate that is young enough to realize, to understand that he can fix all Americans' problems. What he doesn't understand is that the other candidates were explaining to him that you aren't experienced and you don't know about so many other things that are behind the scenes that you can't talk just on the stage in front of the whole entire world. And this is what we need to learn. We need to learn that in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world, there's so much more wisdom than just what we see on the surface, just what we realize on the very first glance. There's so much more in here that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in this world that we need to learn. Part of that is also learning the Torah. Torah has so much depth. It's not just what we see on the surface, the understanding of the words, but rather there's much more into it. And that is something that requires a certain maturity to realize. And only then the gate of Torah and the gate of knowledge opens to you. And then you want to learn more and more once you realize that you are missing out so much. Shabbat Shalom. שלום, שמי הרב שי תחן, ואני מקווה שנהניתם והחכמתם מהשיעור. אם יש לכם שאלה בהלכה, פנו אלינו לבית ההוראה במספר 347-666-3467. זה מספר בניו יורק, ולכן תוכלו לשאול במספר של וואטסאפ, והרבנים של בית ההוראה, ואני בכללם, ננסה לענות לכם בהקדם. שבת שלום.